Hello again. Country borders can have several usages. For example, as background of thematic maps or as delimiters of other spatial data. For example, here we retrieve the intersection between two spatial objects, point within polygons. We can do this to facilitate the identification of spread patterns. However, the access to boundary data can have different outputs, from low to high resolution of country borders, or the availability of certain administrative levels. The choice of these outputs will depend on your needs. So let's start. So, as usual, you can pause this video to read through the learning objectives. So let's start with the rnaturalearth package. First, as an example, we're going to draw a world map with country borders. With this package, we can draw the country borders of all the world and many other features. For this, we're going to use the rnaturalearth function, specifying the SF in their argument. So let's write this function in the chunk to see how to get this result. So if we check the kind of output that we get, we can evaluate this using the class function and confirming that this is an SF object. So with this new countries object, we can use the geomesh function to make a map. So let's start with this. Let's use the ggplot function plus the geomsf, specifying our data of interest, which is the countries object. Okay, so here we have our basic world map using the function of the rnaturalearth package. So now let's check how can we get whole continents. So for this, we're going to visualize only the South American continent. To get this, we only need to use the continent argument of the same function. So over this piece of code that we already recognize, we can use the continent argument. And in the continent argument, we can specify the South America continent and get the ggplot2 outcome of this code. So we can also access to multiple continents within this function. So the only thing that we need to do is to specify these two names within a single vector within the continent argument. So again, let's write the continent argument, and now we're going to specify a vector with these two new continents, North America and South America. And let's check the outcome. Now we have multiple continents that in this case are connected. We have South America and North America in one single SF object. Okay, so now is your time to practice this. Let's use the rnaturalearth function and ggplot with the geomesh function to plot a single map of all the countries in Asia and the Africa continent. So we can access to multiple continents and also to multiple countries. To practice this feature, let's select two countries, Nigeria and Niger, using the country argument. So again, using our known piece of code, let's only add one argument, the country argument. And with the country argument, again, we can use a vector to specify Nigeria and Niger. Okay, and with ggplot, we can get a full visualization of these two neighbor countries. Now it's your turn and get access to China and Indonesia to generate a map with these two countries. Okay, and now it's the turn of the R GeoBoundaries package. So the main characteristic of the rnaturalearth package is that it provides you low resolution country borders. On the other hand, you have the R GeoBoundaries package, and with it, you can access to high resolution country borders. For example, here we have the boundaries of Ireland according to these two packages. In the figure, you can see that the R GeoBoundaries excels with the high resolution of country borders compared with the rnaturalearth package. But what is the R GeoBoundaries package? It is a client of the GeoBoundaries API, and it allows us to get to country political administrative boundaries. Now let's get access to one single country. So we can use the geoboundaries function to access, for example, the Zimbabwe administrative boundaries. So let's write the geoboundaries function and use the country argument. And for this, we can write directly the name of the country, Zimbabwe. So again, it's always really important to check the class of the objects that you're creating. And this one is also an SF object. So this implies that you can also create a ggplot map with this. Okay, so let's practice this one piece of code. Let's download the boundaries of Sierra Leone using the geoboundaries function. Now you can also access to different administrative levels within one country. For this, you only need to pass the administrative level to the geoboundaries function. So you can use the number 1 to access to the highest administrative level, and then use the other numbers corresponding to the administrative level of your interest. As an example, let's get the first administrative level boundaries of Zimbabwe. So we can keep using the geoboundaries function and specify the country name plus the administrative level. We only need to specify the number to access to it. So we have the same map but with polygons within the country borders of this country. And for example, if you would like to access to the second administrative level of Zimbabwe, let's write again the same code and only specified a different administrative level to the corresponding argument. So now we have the same map with polygons within the number 1 administrative level of Zimbabwe. Okay, so now it's your turn. Let's download the third administrative level boundaries of Sierra Leone using the geoboundaries function. So now let's hear a pro tip. So you can also download multiple countries with this package. You can also use a vector specifying country 1 and country 2. For instance, we are going to download the second administrative level of two neighbor countries, Zimbabwe and Mozambique. So we're going to specify in one single vector Zimbabwe and Mozambique. And also specify the administrative level. Okay, so let's check the output of this map. The main advantage of this package is that you can access to neighboring countries with a higher resolution of their boundaries plus administrative level boundaries within each country. So hopefully now you feel more comfortable choosing different alternative packages to access to boundary data. See you in the following lesson.
For more resources, visit our website, where you can track your progress, access interactive quizzes and lesson notes, and connect with our teachers and other learners like you. And if you'd like a more guided experience, we also offer live online bootcamps with expert help. So join us at thegraphcourses.org to start your learning journey today.